Hello students, myself Professor Ankur. I welcome all for the gate theory session of the main topic analog circuits. We are going to continue with the subtopic of diodes, and today we are going to discuss rectifier circuits using diodes. So in the previous session, we have seen a lot of topic related to the diodes. We are going to start now rectifier circuits using diode. So we are going for a definition of rectifier. So what do you mean by a rectifier or rectification process? Rectification is the conversion of alternating current to a direct current. So what we are actually trying to do here is we are having a power supply system. A power supply is basically a DC power supply. So when we talk about the DC power supply, we are having the input in the form of an AC signal and the output has to be DC. So the initial stage, we are trying to convert the alternating current into a DC current. Obviously, the DC current is going to be a fluctuating DC current. It is not going to be a stable DC current. To achieve the impact of stability, we are having other circuits. So that's the main concept of rectification. So now there are three types of rectifier: half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier using center tapping and two diodes, and a full wave rectifier, which is basically realized using bridge rectifier circuitry, which is having four diodes. So in all, we are having three circuits to be covered under the topic of rectifier. So let's understand the concept of half wave rectifier. Here you can see the lower section. There is a circuit diagram where we are having a transformer with primary, secondary, and the core in between. The AC input is going to be given to the primary side. It will get coupled to the secondary. Now, the transformers that we normally use, they are going to be from the family of step down transformer, because it's like today's application, like we want to create a mobile charger. So the mobile charges for around 9 volt. So the charger, when you are putting in a socket of the source, it will be having 230 volt 50 hertz as an input signal, but the output will be around 9 volt. So implies from a very high voltage level, we want to bring it to a small DC level. That's the reason we need impact of step down. And that's the reason you will find impact of step down transformer. The figure does not try to elaborate you the impact of turns ratio, but then the turns ratio is adjusted smartly to give you effect of step down. So now what will happen? So here the circuitry is having two parts. The AC input is connected to a transformer. The transformer is connected to a diode and a load. So the diode will work like a rectifier. The simple logic of diode is basically operation as a switch. When the diode is forward biased, it will work like a closed switch. And under closed switch effect, whatever is the voltage of the secondary, that will work as an output voltage. And in the negative half cycle, when the diode is reverse biased, automatically the output will go to zero. So what has happened here? The impact is we are actually preserving the positive half cycles and the negative cycles are getting eliminated. You can say that this effect is as good as an effect of a clipper circuitry, because in clipper we have already studied an impact of negative clipper where the negative half cycles are getting eliminated. So we are having an impact under half wave rectification where only one of the cycle is going to get preserved and the other cycle will get eliminated. So when I look at the parameters of the half wave rectifier, the first parameter we can understand is the DC load current. The DC load current will be defined as IDC, which will have the value Im by pi, where Im is the peak value of the current flowing in the output side. It's like we are having two parameters, Vm and Im. So Vm will corresponding to the value of voltage and Im will correspond to the value of current. Similarly, the DC load voltage will be defined as VDC, which will be under idle operation will have the value Vm by pi. But practically when you see, it will have a consideration for the resistance of the diode, the load resistance, as well as some small contribution from the transformer secondary side. And that's the reason the formula for VDC will be Vm by pi into a factor. Now, the RMS value of load current will come as Im by 2, and the RMS value of load voltage will come as Vm by 2. Now, this is very important parameter because normally as a student, I have something in my mind that RMS is always peak by root 2. But that happens when you have both the cycles. In this circuitry, we have missed or eliminated one cycle. So definitely the result is not going to be the same. And that's a main point to remember, that the RMS value of load current will come as Im by 2 and the RMS value of voltage will come as Vm by 2. On calculation, we get the ripple factor as 1.21. So first of all, what do you mean by ripple factor? Ripple factor indicates the amount of ripples or fluctuations in the output. So since you can see clearly that we have eliminated one of the half cycle, obviously the DC contribution is very less. So the impact of fluctuation on the DC is going to be more, and that is the reason the ripple factor is on the higher side. And that's a major reason the rectification efficiency comes around 40.6%. Now, when we talk about the peak inverse voltage, that is the maximum voltage that can be withstanded by a diode under reverse bias. So we have the peak inverse voltage value for the half wave rectifier equal to Vm. And the frequency of the output is going to be equal to F. This frequency is same as the frequency of the AC input signal. Now we are trying to understand a full wave rectifier. So what is an impact under full wave rectifier? In full wave rectifier, we are having a center tap transformer. So the load will be connected to the center tap effect. The diode D1 and D2 are connected to the ends of the secondary, and the center tap point is normally connected to the ground. So you will find the impact of RL, where the current in the RL will be happening because of the diode D1 as well as diode D2 in the independent half cycles. When we talk about the operation, it's a very simple operation. The positive half cycle of the AC input, the D1 will be forward biased, D2 will be reverse biased. So the current in the load will be contributed by D1, and during the negative half cycle, D2 is forward bias and D1 is reverse bias. So the current contribution is given by D2. So overall effect across the RL, you will find that the current direction is retained as same direction, whatever may be the conduction due to D1 or due to D2. And hence you will find that the output will be having the same cycle. So what has actually happened here, we have converted the negative cycle into a positive cycle, and we have retained the positive cycle as it is. Obviously, the voltage level is not the same what we had at an input. The input is very high voltage because the input is 230 volt 50 hertz signal, and on the secondary side we are having an effect of step down. So whatever the value of peak we get here, that peak is not same as the peak of your AC input signal. But what we have achieved here, when you compare with the half wave rectifier, we are able to retain the negative cycle also in the form of positive cycle. So overall effect of one complete cycle gives you two half cycles which are positive. Now, a similar effect can be realized using a bridge rectifier circuitry. In the bridge rectifier circuitry, the input side is basically again an AC source with a normal transformer. Here we are not going to use a center tap transformer. The circuitry is not shown because I am just concentrating on the diode section. So if you can see, the diode section is going to have 4 diodes, D1, D2, D3, D4, and they will work accordingly, or you can say in particular combination. When you look at the combination, you will find that during the positive half cycle, D2 and D3 are forward bias, and during the negative half cycle, D1 and D4 are forward bias. So eventually when you see the total output contribution, you will get 2 half cycles, and every half cycle is going to be preserved. When I try to compare a center tapped full wave rectifier with a bridge rectifier, you can easily see that the basic difference is with respect to the number of diodes. The diodes in center tap full wave rectifier is 2 and the count of diodes in bridge is 4. The efficiency is 81.2% in both the cases. The peak inverse voltage is different in both the cases. It is 2 Vm and Vm. The VDC value will be 2 Vm by pi in both the cases. The ripple factor is same in both the cases. And when you see the output frequency, it is also same in both the cases. It is 2f. Now why it is 2f? Because in one complete cycle of the AC input cycle, you are getting 2 half cycles of the output. So eventually you are getting 2f at the output side. So this is the major understanding. Now the main thing you need to understand here is the half wave rectifier was having a lower efficiency, whereas full wave and bridge are having better efficiency. But when you compare all three circuits, out of the three, the best rectifier will be a bridge rectifier. It is all because the bridge rectifier circuitry is able to minimize the loss contribution contributed by the center tap transformer, which was in the full wave rectifier using center tapping. And that's the reason you can see the transformer utilization factor better in bridge rectifier compared to the center tap full wave rectifier circuitry. So I hope all of you are able to understand the understanding operations of half wave, full wave using your center tap transformer, and full wave using bridge rectifier circuitry. Thank you.